Hello and welcome to my ever messy art station. My name is Keeks and today we're going to be taking a look at gouache because one of my gouache kits came in. As I mentioned in my last video, I did order two different types of gouache. I ordered some in tubes and I ordered some that were just already set up. So I also ordered two different gouache books too, and oddly enough one book came. So I want to definitely dig into these. So let me show you what I've got here. I've got the Winsor & Newton gouache set. And then I've got this All Right watercolor palette. I was thinking this could be a good thing to store the gouache in. This was just something that kept coming up whenever I was looking on Amazon. So I've never actually seen anybody use this particular one. But I think it should be pretty cool because it's supposed to be airtight. And with gouache, you can use it either wet or dry, or you can let it dry out all the way. But I just wanted something to store it in, so I got this. Oh, this is nice. That removes. Does the side remove? No. So this part actually comes out, so you can clean it, or you can use both parts there. So that's kind of nice. I will want to keep that in mind though, because that could be a problem. I can definitely see myself doing that. And then I also got this awesome gouache book. It's called Get Started with Gouache, A Colorful Guide to the World of Painting Around You. And I'm not going to do the biggest flip through because it does have instructions on how to do these projects, and I don't want to take away from people that might want to buy this book, but I will do a quick little flip through. Flip, flip, flip. All kinds of great projects in here. And what I figured is once we get the gouache all set up and stuff, and after I swatch them, which I'll probably swatch them off camera to be honest, because I've done a lot of swatching on videos lately and I feel like that's not all my videos should be. But after I swatch, I do want to do one of the projects in this book, and I was actually thinking about doing the birds one. Where's the birds one? Here it is. Yeah. So I really like this one. So I want to try to do that. I think that would be really cute, or at least something similar to it. But if you're interested in this book, on Amazon, it's 20 bucks. For Canada, it's $25.99, and the ISBN is 978-19848-57309. So that should be all you need for that. Let's go ahead and get started by pouring some of the gouache into this new palette that I've got here. I'm just going to open my Winsor & Newtons here and hope that it just pulls out. Oh good, it does. Okay. So this is the gouache, and it has 10 tubes in it. So you got quite a bit there. I'm just going to pop her open. I'll probably keep the box just so that I have something to put these back into. So I don't want to leave them loose leaf with my acrylics because they will definitely get lost if that happens. So I'll be keeping the box. So then let's see here. So I've got 10 colors. I wonder how many's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, perfect. I'm like, okay. Okay, so there's probably going to be a weird cut in the video there. My stand that my phone is on just completely fell over, so that was great. Well, anyway, let's get back on track here. So there's 10 of these, and there's 10 colors here, and it looks like there's some areas for mixing here. You can mix in here, you can mix in the tray, mix everywhere. So I'm just going to pop these open, I'm going to plop them in. And it looks like there's no sticky thing over it or anything, so that's good. And I'm just going to fill it up. So there's the white. This is primary yellow. This is medium yellow. Kind of an orangey yellow, which is good. We've got vermilion, which is more of an orange. we've got primary red, ultramarine. Ooh, that's a pretty color. Primary blue. I think if I would have noticed this a little bit better, I probably would have swapped those two. I like going light to dark on my palettes, but that's okay. Medium green. Burnt sienna. And lastly, we've got black. And with gouache, from what I understand, you can use it if it's wet or if it has been dried and then use it again. So what I'm gonna do is off camera, I'm gonna swatch these, but then I'm just gonna let them dry. And that way I can fully test it the way that I'm gonna see it the entire time, because if I do just paint with it wet, that's not really gonna show me anything because it's not always going to be wet. So I think it would just be a little bit smarter to do it this way. So there's going to be a bit of a pause in time, and then I'm going to come back and we will paint some birds together. Okay, so I've let the paint dry for a little bit. I don't think it's totally dry, but that's all right because you can use it whether it's dry or not, from what I understand anyway. Plus, we're going to be doing a little bit of paint mixing, so it might be okay that it's not fully dry. I did go ahead and prepare my page a little bit. All I did was put some washi tape around the area. Underneath this, I even put like where in the book I found this at, and I've got some clips here just to hold it down. So everything looks good there. Now, the first step it says is that we need to very lightly sketch 2 birds and some branches. So I'm gonna do that very lightly. I'm gonna put my instructions up here so I can see them a little bit better. You won't really see it, it's gonna be off the page a little bit because I wanted to really focus on the actual page itself. And this is a brand new book, so of course it's not gonna wanna sit the way I want it to sit, but that's okay, we'll be fine. All right, so start by using a pencil to very lightly sketch 2 birds on tree branches, using her drawing as a reference. So I am not the best at sketching birds. I just want to put that out there real quick because this is about sketching birds. So don't judge me. Our birds are going to look completely different, and that's totally fine. So let's see here. To sketch the birds, I'm going to use a Caran d'Ache luminance pencil. This one is called Gris Aridos or Slate Gray, number 495. So I'm just going to sharpen it real quick. I've got a Faber-Castell sharpener. I'm just going to get that puppy a little sharper than what it is. This one's got a loose lead. That makes me nervous. I'm a little worried that if I try to get it sharper than what it is, it might pull the lead out. I don't know why. I have the worst luck with pencils. With the luminescence, it's a little bit better, just because it doesn't always happen, but sometimes I don't know if it's just the way I use the pencil or what's going on with it, but I am the absolute worst when it comes to having leads fall out of pencils. So it looks like it is going to want to sharpen for us, so that's good. Getting it a little bit sharper there. And I think that's probably sharp enough because I don't want it to get any sharper because I don't have any issues. So she's got a bird up here. It's got kind of a round little head. So I'm gonna go kind of like that. little bit of a beak here like that. And a little swoopy body. And then over here, she's got kind of a line, kind of like that. And there's a second line there. And I'm doing this very, very lightly. So hopefully you can still see it. But I'm trying not to do it too dark. I think I messed up. So what I'm gonna do is, let's see if I can erase a little bit of this at the bottom here. That's what I was worried about, which is why I was trying to draw as light as I could and make it long enough. So we're actually going to extend this a little bit and out like that. That looks good. And then she's got a tail on this bird that kind of goes out like this with 3 little triangles at the end, like that. And then it looks like she's just got little feet. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And she has put a little dot for the eye. So that's our first bird. And then our second bird's going to be right here. And this one is a little bit lower. And in her picture, it's more by the feet, but we don't have that kind of room, so we're not doing it like that. But we're gonna do our little head. And this one has its little beak up here, and it's kind of open. And this one kind of curves up a little bit like that. And then it has a little wing here. And for the wing, it goes outside of the body a little bit like that. And then the body kind of curves around like that. And then she simply has 3 lines for that one. And because of the way this one's sitting, it's more forward like that. And then she also has a couple lines here like this, because this one has different colors in it. And so something kind of like that for them. And then she's got a tree branch here. And the first tree branch kind of goes out a little bit. And then there's a second tree branch for this bird. And then there's also some other tree branches coming out, so I'm just going to make my own little tree branches here. Something like that. And then she's also got little hands coming off of the tree branches, like just like little tiny things. So we're just gonna go ahead and add those. And there is our pre-sketch. Okay, so next we need to actually mix some colors, which is going to be a little interesting because I've never, like, I've mixed some colors with you guys on the channel before, but I've never mixed gouache, so this is different. So what it says to do is take a few different colors here, and it says that we're going to create a pale yellow gray color. So you mix white. So I'm gonna, like I said, this isn't fully dry, so I'm gonna steal some white here, and I'm gonna plop it in here, in this one that's right next to it. Plop that. And I'm not gonna mix a whole bunch because you just want this for the underside of one bird, so that'd be a little crazy. Okay, and then it says to take a little hint of black. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of black, dab that in the white, because I don't want the black to overrun everything. That would be terrible, and it would not do what we want it to do. And then I'm gonna take what she says is permanent yellow deep. I'm gonna take this yellow right here. It's like light orange color. And then we're gonna mix it up, and it should give us a very pale yellow. And that's what it's doing. Okay. So that's exciting. Our first color mix is going well. And that one is going to go on to this bird here. So we're gonna go ahead and take that color, just lightly paint it on. Probably could have added a little bit more white, but that's okay. Really just trying not to paint too wide. I have a really hard time painting in the lines. It's funny, I don't know why I'm like almost whispering as I go like this. It's because I'm trying to be careful. So in my trying to be carefulness, I'm like whispering, because maybe if I whisper it won't be as scary. Okay. So we've got that color in there. And I'm gonna take my brush. I'm not using a regular watercolor brush at the moment. I'm just using my Ohuhu water brush, just because I thought maybe since this is my first go at gouache, it would be easier to wash the brush. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, and then we gotta mix another color here. So it says we're gonna create a muted red with red itself. So I'm gonna take a lump of red and plop it down here. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of black, just a dot. And then it says also some permanent white and water. And mix it, and it should make a muted red. It's kind of making more of a purpley color, if I'm honest. So I'm thinking, based on her picture, I need more red in this mixture. So let me grab just a dab more red, put it in there. Yeah, that looks a lot better. And then it says all we need to do is paint the chest of the bird. So it says to flourish them towards the belly. So we're gonna go like this and flourish it like that. That's a very pretty color. So that's good. Now I'm just cleaning my brush off here so that we can get to our next set of directions. I like that this has different paint mixing in it. You don't often see that in project ones. They automatically assume you have the right colors. So this is kind of fun to be able to mix your own paint. And it's interesting that you're using whites and blacks to do that with. Very cool. Oops. Like I said, this book is new, so with me setting it up like how I've got it, it's being a little temperamental. So now we get to create a cool brown, it says. Come on, book, work with me. Work with me. I don't have this much desk room. Okay. Are we gonna stay? Cool. I have my book kind of like up against something, so that kind of tries to stay. All right. So now the next color it says to mix is to take burnt umber, which we do have that exact shade. So I've got a bit of burnt umber here. And then we're gonna mix it with white and black also in some water. So I know last time I needed quite a bit more of the original colors, so that's what I'm gonna do. Make sure we get plenty of that slapped in there. Wipe off my brush. Oh no, my book just closed. Yeah, that's what happens, I guess. I need to get one of those nice book stands. So then what it says to do is mix white and lamp black in there. So I'm gonna do that real quick. So I'm just gonna do a little touch of black, just a little one, don't want much. And then just a touch of that white. I'm gonna murder the book, it keeps flipping pages on me. I don't know if it's because of the fan or what's going on. Shouldn't be the fan, because my fan's always on and it never bothers my books. But just know it's annoying. Okay, and then we need some white again. Maybe a little bit more than that. And we're just gonna mix it up. And this is the color that we're going to use on this bird here, which is why I think this should have been a little bit lighter, but that's okay. So we're just gonna go ahead and paint this girl in. I say girl, it could be just a pretty male, but usually birds that are this like more lighter toned color, like something that's not super bright, are usually female birds. So I'm gonna say that that's a female. We're just gonna paint it in. Usually whenever I paint stuff, I try to go the same direction. So we can do that. Now with the head of this bird, it's a little different. So with the head of this bird, there's a little break here where there's white, and then there's brown. Goes up the eye. And then there's also brown on top of the head, but there's a little sliver of white there, and there will also be a sliver of black. I painted outside the lines a little bit, so we'll have to kind of touch it up as we go. And then with this black one, it says just mix more black in with your burnt umber. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's giving me kind of a muddy, dark color, but they've got it quite dark in the book, so I'm gonna be generous with the black this time. There we go, that's the darkness we're looking for. So we're quite generous this time with this really dark color. And we're going to paint the head, so it looks like the entire head on this one. Leave a ring of white there, like that. And then do our wing. And then the tail. And this tail has got little triangles in it, so I'm gonna attempt to do that. Like I said, not great at getting in the lines on stuff, so it might not look quite right, but that's okay. He's just a bird that's been through some things. All right, there we go. Now the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna add little details onto our bird, it says. So like on this one, we kind of need this black here to go like that. Oh no, I covered up the white, so I'll have to put some white on it. And then it also says go around the wing with that darker color. So that's what I'm gonna do. Like that. And then add some little details. And I'm gonna go and get some white here because we need some white detailing that we're missing because I messed up, which is fine, that happens. So I'm going to go into the white and just do a little line here. And I'm also going to, even though it doesn't say to, I'm gonna go ahead and make this white too because this book is kind of a tan color. And if I don't, it's not gonna match or look right. So we're just gonna preemptively do it, and then there's some like little speckles in here on the wing. Okay. And I'm also gonna use that white again over here because we want this to be white. So we've got a bit of white here, like that. And then some lines here, some little dots. Something like that. And there needs to be white down here. I'm just gonna lightly do it here, like that because I want those reds to still pop. So something like that. And then it doesn't really say what color the beak should be, does it? Mix up a light color, of permanent white and lamp black for beaks on both the birds. I think I'm just going to use a little bit of the umber that I have over here still, because there's still a little teeny bit of umber here. And I'm just gonna try really, really hard to stay in the lines. Just know that this is not my favorite part. This is where I fail a bit on projects. Oh yeah, because now this bird has a lot going on here, but maybe we can fix it when we add the blue. Because that beak does not look like a beak. And we've got this one's little beak. Something like that, and we'll add some lines back into it later. Kind of like that beak. Okay. Oh, and we need to add some little stripy doodads down here. Like that. This one doesn't have the stripy doodads. So now it says to make a pale gray using lots of permanent white, a tiny bit of permanent yellow, and a tiny bit of black. So that's almost this color again. But I don't know that I want to do that. I want to do a pretty blue sky. So why don't we do blue and white instead? We're going to make this our own. This is where I also don't follow directions very well. So let's take primary blue, and I'm going to put it right here. Some primary blue, and then some white to kind of tone it down a bit. And the tiniest hint of black, I think. Let's see what happens. It might have been too much black. I think it's too much black. Oh no. Oh no. I was trying to get just a little dot, but you know how black is. It just does whatever it wants. Let's add some more blue to that. Getting it back to being a blue now, which is good. Add some water to it. There we go. And let's get some more white in there. So I think the white's really going to help us. Don't ask why I just put my finger in paint. Because I accidentally got a little bit of the blue in the white and I didn't want to do that. All right, let's muddy that up a bit. There we go. It gives us kind of a tonal blue, and I think that's what we're going to do our sky with. I'm just going to do little circles. stuff as I can. I like the idea of doing circles because then it gives the sky kind of a texture. And I don't know about you, I like textury skies. That's something I can agree to. I'm doing this in my Royal Talons sketchbook. So it should take the water. If it does bleed, it's going to be really minimal. So it shouldn't ruin anything. So I've definitely watercolored in it before and haven't had any problems. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way now. I feel more confident in what I'm doing. I don't really need the instructions anymore because all that's left is blues and greens and browns. And now that I understand how she's color mixing, that's fine. Because at the end of the day, it's about what I want. Use some of that blue to hide where I messed up at. And the feet and little details on the branches are last, so it's okay if we cover up where we penciled in at. I don't see that being a problem. I want to be really careful around that beak because I really liked the beak on this one. So I don't want to accidentally blue it up. There we go. Getting gouache with it. This is just really like a thick watercolor, isn't it? Really reminds me of whenever I use the Gansai Tambies. Gonna have to mix some more of that color though, because I've already ran out of it. So hopefully I can mix it into a similar tone. But we shall see. If not, the sky will just have to have some flourish, I guess. So I'm just gonna put it there. Wipe off my brush a little bit so I can get some white. And hope that I'm not screwing with the white too much. There we go. And then I just needed a touch of black again. Just a touch. And I did it again. It's okay. A little bit too much black. So we're just gonna add some more blue and white to it again. It's all a process. Put a bunch of white in there and mix it up again. It's creating a similar blue, so I think we're okay. I don't think it's going to make so big of a difference that we notice it. So I've got these triangles in here again. And actually the blue cleaned that up quite a bit, which is good. Yep. Got a little bit too much there, but that's okay. Just like that, and then we got to get this little bit in here. I think the problem is I'm using this gouache too much like I would an acrylic in a weird way. But that's okay. So that looks fine. And then we get to add the browns. And very last I'm gonna put in the eyeballs and some of the other stuff. I am running out of water, so I will be right back. Okay, so now we're going to do the branches. And this time I think the umber is fine to use because it's already a brown color and it's a different brown than what we have been using. So I'm thinking it's going to be fine. So we're going to go for it. I'm just mixing it with some water real quick. The brown like that. Now there's also some brown up here with some trees, but I'm gonna worry about this bottom part first. There's another stick over here. we've got little side branches here. A nice thing about trees is, you know, they kind of grow however they want. So if your branches are thick and chunky like mine, it's okay. Okay. So now I'm going to use just a little bit of black. And I'm going to do a little eyeball here. Boop. A little eyeball here. Boop. Just like that. And I do want just a touch of white in those eyes. So I'm going to do a little doot and a little doot like that. And I'm going to go ahead and lay down their feet. Something like that for that bird. And we need to lay down the other one. Like that. Just like so. And then we're gonna take the umber that we had. I'm gonna mix it with some green. Okay. And I'm gonna do
very sad. You know, since you're sick, you need to go on
some leaves.
No booze. If you're sick, you need to go sleep. Excuse me, Ronan. Sit down, please. I'm the boring one. Okay. Mr. Daddy's the boring one. Okay.
Now this one's gonna be tricky because it goes behind this bird. So something like that.
Here in a minute, and then rip off the starter, and then hang out so someone doesn't want to, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at from now. Yeah. Oh, cool. Really? It's kind of cool, actually.
First, I have to fix these lights.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is looking pretty good.
Oh, really?
So now we've got these nice leaves in there. Okay, so that looks good. Now what I might do is hit it with a heat gun and take a colored pencil to it to give it some more details. Let me clean out my brush real quick. So my brush is very messy right now. This was a little bit messier than I thought it would be, but that's not a bad thing. It just means it's messy. There we go. Just cleaning my brush real fast. Okay, so I'm gonna hit this with our heat gun, so give it a moment. Something like that. I noticed I missed a leaf up here, but I think that's okay because not all, like on real trees, you have stuff that's missing too. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an acrylic brown. It's pretty dry, and I'm going to just put in some little hints of lines on the wood. Just giving it a little extra zhuzh so that it looks fun.
Yeah. You guys just that slow right now, or?
There we go. I think that just gives a little extra detail. I'm also going to clean up these beaks a bit, I think. So I have these Arctic markers is what I'm using here. And what we can do is we can just clean up some of these lines.
Nightmare. Alright, well, hey.
Like that. And then I can take the black one and separate the beak on this one.
Right.
Like that. So I think that's pretty well done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. And we're going to take the tape up and see what we ended up with.
I'll call you back in like 3 seconds. I'm trying to walk it through. Back. Can I talk to them?
Thank you. You like my birds?
Oh, they're very tweet.
I was just pulling the tape up.
Very cute.
So then I'm just going to peel this up a little bit.
I'm trying to fix these lights.
Like that. Uh-oh. Got some ripping happening in the tape. There we go. It wasn't ripping the page, the actual tape itself was ripping. All right. And there we have it, our first fully gouache painting. I have used just acrylic gouaches before, but this is my first time using regular gouache. So I think it worked out pretty well. I would like to see how these work out whenever it's dry, when it's fully dry. But otherwise, I think that it looks really good. And I don't see any problems with it or anything like that. I am going to have to go through here and clean up this white, I think, because I accidentally got some blue in my white. And I don't really want to do that because I was hoping not to contaminate the white, and I did anyway. But other than that, it's pretty good. I think I'm excited to see what the other book is like, to see if there's less or more color mixing involved, because I'm curious about that. But otherwise, I think this turned out really well. So I hope you liked this, and I hope you enjoyed yourself, and maybe you painted a bird with me, and if so, that's great. So I hope everybody has a great day. Bye.